Good blessed throwback Thursday, June the 29th, 2021. It's about, I believe, 3:49 p.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter if you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you're the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. Doesn't matter whether you like me, my YouTube channel, which I recommend and I encourage everybody to subscribe to it, and whether you like me or not. It's Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N-D, Ivy, I-V-Y. I'd like to come to you all today to say that I want to again thank all those that's been supporting the justice for my son, Brian Lamont Johns. I welcome everybody that has asked to join. It's about 4 or 5 of y'all that I haven't really approved yet because there's 3 simple questions that's asked and you all haven't answered the questions. And then maybe one that I'm just looking over, you know, because I had a couple of people that went to SIU and living in other places that claim to be activists, but yet I got them in the group and was communicating with them, and yet no type of action concerning my son. So I didn't see no sense of keeping them on. But it's some other people that's on that said, you know what you're about, but I don't really see any action. And I just want to say this here, you know, that I have been getting the word that, you know, certain groups that's supposed to be for justice for all and civil rights groups meeting with the police and meeting with the prosecuting attorney, the police chief and the prosecuting attorney. But with the exception of one individual, a man that I know that he openly let him know that he feel that my son was murdered and not hung. I don't mind. I don't see nothing wrong with him meeting with anybody to question them why ain't nothing been done, why it never been published. But you other civil rights groups, justice for all or whatever you want to be, and civil rights leaders, civil rights groups, you ain't doing. How's you meeting with these people and y'all having a meeting? I'm not invited, and it's my son. Neither one of y'all publish it in any papers. Neither one of y'all publish anything in any paper or news to ask the public for help. I'm asking the public for help. But how's y'all meeting with them? And not only you're not meeting with me, but I'm not knowing what you're meeting about. But I just want to show y'all something where I'm at again. Out here with my I call them my geese. You see how they spread it out? This is showing you something. Normally, these here particular geese don't be there. You see the white ducks that's in the thing in the water there. You know, the geese is surrounding everything. They on other sides, and they around here for a reason because they see we making progress in finding out what happened to my son. You see what I'm saying? They came to here. They said, you know, I believe it was 100 and maybe 32, 33, 34 days. You see how they open it up for the white geese? They showing unity. You see what I'm saying? That's something that's not being showed in Carbondale concerning my son because it's too many days has unpassed. And you got all these leaders down there, all these organizations down there, all these people with these titles doctors. You see what I'm saying? Doctors. You know, all that means nothing. You see what I'm saying? If you're not putting it to use. But I just want to say this here, y'all. Y'all school is finna start in a little bit up there. By now, y'all should know who this school teacher is. And let me tell you something else. Ain't this a beautiful sight, y'all? Ain't that a beautiful sight? Just take a look around the whole area. The whole area is a beautiful sight. The whole area is a beautiful sight, y'all. Look at the sky. It's real hot out here, y'all. That's the highway I be hitting a lot. I-57, that FedEx truck is headed northbound. That's what I head, northbound to Carbondale. About, I think, an hour and 10 minutes away. The other FedEx is going southbound on I-57. But I just want to say this here, y'all. When the police is doing an investigation and they go question somebody, the police already know the answer. Now, let me tell y'all a little bit about somebody that they question. And this is the white school teacher that was spending my son's food stamp card, her and her husband and her children's, living off of my son's food stamp card when they knew he was addicted to drugs, but they said they were trying to help him. They had been eating off of my son's food stamp card since June 2020. They continued to eat off of my son's food stamp card to around April the 29th of 2021. My son had been dead then for like about 39 days. But you know, the police, they watch my YouTubes. I'm wondering where my son's wallet at. We already found out. They know who had the wallet. I got a picture of it and everything. But let me show you this here. The police went to this school teacher's job. And they asked her this question. Y'all listen real good, Carbondale, Illinois. The female is white and her husband is black. They asked this lady this. They said, do you think your husband killed Brian, which is my son, about some methamphetamine? Now, why would they ask her husband, if he's a community leader, she's a school teacher, a parent educator, why would they go ask her, do she think? You see, when they ask you, do you think something, they already know. Do you think your husband killed Brian over some methamphetamine? Now, this is before the coroner have come to his conclusion on June the 23rd, 2021, last month, certifying the death certificate as suicide and the contributing cause, abuse of methamphetamine. Ain't that something? This is something that the assistant or deputy coroner who identified himself as the coroner on March the 24th, 2021, to me and my son's mother said he was the coroner, but him and the lieutenant, the commanding lieutenant and investigator for the Carbondale Police Department, and this coroner is from the Jackson County, Illinois coroner's office. They had already made a decision that he just made last month on June the 23rd. Some 3 months later, they had already told us on June the 24th, 4 days after my son, well, 5 days after my son was allegedly found dead in Carbondale, hung, lynched. They had already told me and the mother what they was going to do. This before a toxicology test even came back. This before autopsy was even done. And if it was up to the deputy coroner who identified himself for the coroner, who worked for Meredith Funeral Home where they had my son's body in there, no telling what they done did with it. He had already contaminated the scene by prying my son open, taking money out of it and leaving it in the body bag. That's to show you how experienced he is. But they had already made up their mind. They had already told us that it was suicide. So there was no investigation in 5 days. It was suicide. He told us either by drugs, contributed by drugs, if drugs was in his system, or if it wasn't no drugs in his system, it was by mental health. So what took three months to put it on a death certificate? And then you can't be working hand in hand with the Carbondale Police Department, who you was with a commanding lieutenant when y'all told me this here. Because on the 25th, the day after I made my first YouTube video with one of y'all sergeants that I thought was a good man, your lieutenant in your corner said that it was suicide. One way or another, it would not, homicide or any other thing cannot be considered. But yet, the very next day after the autopsy and after I came down from making a video on the 24th of March 2021, all of a sudden it's a death investigation as of March the 25th, 2021. Why is it a death investigation now and been in a death investigation over 4 months now when your commanding lieutenant, well, this sergeant must have some real good clout because he said he assigned himself to the case. Now, he's a sergeant. How in the hell is a sergeant going to go over a lieutenant, go over a captain, go over a chief, even go over the city attorney, go over the mayor and the city council? All them is over him. How's he going to go over them and just assign himself 6 days after my son's death? You know why? Because they seen my son wasn't what they thought he was. They used him just like that white woman that's working in y'all school who the detective asked her, do you think your husband killed Brian, my son? Ain't that something, y'all? Why would he ask him that? He didn't ask me. Do you think one of your other children killed your son? I wonder what they asked the white woman that claimed she found his wallet on June the 7th. She told me she found his wallet a week and a half after he died. She had that figured out real, so she must have knew when he died, exactly when he died. Probably was there with her because they say she was having him rob dope dealers. She had set him up with a body. You see what I'm saying? And they robbed the dope dealers. The police, Carbondale Police Department, when I say Carbondale Police Department, if one of y'all doing it, all of y'all doing it. Y'all want him wired up so he can set up drug dealers. But I wonder did they ask that white woman, but then again, they might have not asked that white woman. You see what I'm saying? The white woman in the school shouldn't have been only been able to been asked, why, or do you think your husband killed Brian? But she should have been put in handcuffs because what she committed was a felon. And then I wonder how that white woman, her husband, the community leader, the black folks don't see him in the black community, but he marched with the Arabs protecting them. Said he was my son's friend, but I can't tell. You see what I'm saying? But how do they sleep at night? They said they didn't know that my son was dead until they seen my YouTube. Ain't that something? You know, if you were buying his food stamp from him, you know he wasn't living for the month of April, period. You see what I'm saying? But you spent his money on the 29th. And I can tell how healthy you and your kids and your husband is, school teacher. And I know it ain't off the meals from the school. Y'all been eating off my son's food stamps. And if the people investigate y'all, You see what I'm saying? They'll see. They'll see that y'all have other people food stamp cards too. That means y'all using these people that's homeless. But you use the wrong black man. You use my son. You see, I don't care how powerful your husband is. I don't care if you're part of one of them gangs in Carbondale. I ain't scared of none of them damn people. I ain't saying I'm tough, but I'm tough enough to come in Carbondale. I don't care if the chief of chiefs killed my son. I'm coming to get justice, to get him locked up. I don't care if one of the highest ranking police got something to do with it. The judge. You hang the wrong black man. You can't do that to everybody. You can do it to some people, but you can't do it to everybody. One thing about my grandfather and my grandmother, may both of them rest in peace. They children is far from dumb. We doctors, we school teachers, we paramedics, we activists. Y'all see me, and I ain't the loudest one out of all of the Ivies, y'all. Y'all ain't seen the crew yet. You see what I'm saying? The crew just sitting back. The day you take my life, you see what I'm saying? The crew, I want them to take my body up and down Carbondale, Illinois. I don't want them to tear up nothing, but continue what I'm doing. Shake that town up. You got a killer going on. Y'all been doing it for too long. You see, my geese, they spreading out in case the enemy come. You see how they spreading out? They spreading out in case the enemy come. You see how they got the front entrance? The enemy got to come like a submarine coming that way. You see what I'm saying? To come through there. I told you they killed a good friend of mine a few years ago. Right there under that hut there. Shot him in the head, I believe it was. Or shot him. I don't know exactly where he got shot. Broad daylight. But they ain't found who killed him. You know why they ain't found who killed him? Because they just like the people in Carbondale. When I say the people in Carbondale, if the shoe fit, wear it. I'm talking about those so-called leaders and those police. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you gonna meet with the police and the prosecuting attorney, with the exception of those of y'all that actually communicate with me, why is you meeting with them people? You're doing just like they do down here in Charleston, Missouri. When a black man get killed, mentally ill black man get shot and killed by a white police here, which let me show you what happened to him. He been promoted to captain. He down in East Prairie, Missouri now. His mom is the school resource officer in the Carbondale police here in Charleston, Missouri. The same one that questioned my then 5-year-old daughter without my permission, saying that she can do it to make her change her story, what a white bus driver did to her. But God still see that. If you look at his head, the one killed that mentally ill guy, I'm probably old enough to be his daddy. His whole head is great. God is dealing with it. I don't care how much they elevate y'all here in Carbondale, in Charleston, Missouri, or in Carbondale, Illinois. When you're doing wrong, God got something for you. You see, y'all look at my background and y'all say, well, this guy got all this violence on there. But y'all notice I ain't got violence in 24 or 25 years. You know why? Because God fight all my battles. Some of the people that done did my 2 daughters wrong in the school, some of them hung themselves. Some died in mysterious ways. Some doing life in prison. Some crippled, some blind, and some is crazy. But I still pray for them all. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to leave y'all with this here. Y'all think about what I'm saying. Why would that police detective that assigned himself ask? The white school teacher went to a job and asked her, do you think your husband killed Brian, my son, over methamphetamine? The only way that somebody asks you that, you must have been convicted of murder. You must have done dealt drugs before. I'm going to leave y'all with that. And anybody in Carbondale don't like what I'm saying, I'll advise you, don't come nowhere near me in a threatening manner. I'm going to leave it at that. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm trained in combat. You see what I'm saying? In the combat that I'm trained in, you don't leave nothing standing. Peace be still.